Guerilla Podcast Syndicate production. Each of us runs a different pace in life.
As a millennial or someone coming of age into adulthood, it's just a lot of things to process. And a lot of things that you want can't happen now because a lot of things are
In love, friendships, and our own self-worth. As we embark on these journeys, we hold the hope to learn a little more each day.
why can't I have whatever they have? And oftentimes I find myself comparing my progress, comparing what I have with other people, even like in the slyest way. It seems like it's a
As we survive and strive to be stronger.
You are really sure and aware of your being as a person and your truth, your core, your everything. Anything that you put out on the table won't be used against you.
So I'd like to welcome you all to love, growth, and freedom.
the different kinds of love that we could see in this world, and on the idea of how love is crazy and how love has different meanings for all of us.
A podcast that believes in love, inspires growth, and advocates freedom. Let me be your friend, your guide, as we all ride the crazy adventure called life. Powered by Guerilla Podcast Syndicate.
Welcome back to Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte. And today I have with me a special friend, Trisha. Hi, Trisha.
Hi guys.
How are you? How are you feeling
okay.
today?
I'm okay naman. I just had a long day at work, but like I'm okay. I'm fine.
You know what? It took me a while to schedule you with this one because she's a busy person, and I just wanted to have someone really, really special with me on this episode because this is about talking.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I love you. No, but this is this episode is going to be about how do you thank your friends, and since it's a season of gratitude, learning how to thank the people going through our lives together, as we move on from one stage to another, more often than not, we spend these times growing up with individuals we end up calling our friends. Yes, that's you, Trisha. Some even
Hi,
become
that's
our
me.
best friends. Yeah. And as we grow up, we get pulled apart in different directions. And even though that this
Yeah.
happens, we can't discount the fact that these people have been a part of our lives. So, Trisha, have you
Of
like
course.
on your end, I'm sure you've got lots of friends that you kind of like, not really fell apart with, but really just was pulled in different directions. And how do you keep that you know, in your orbit? How do you keep them in your orbit? How do you keep intact these relationships that kind of pulled you in different directions?
Okay, so you're talking about like relationships that or
Yeah.
friendships that tested me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Like
that friendships that
like
had been tested over time.
exactly, and also the
Okay.
distance that lasted you through this. Because I'm sure you have a lot. Like you have a lot of people in like different groups and places that you actually have a real deep connection with. And when you see them, it's like nothing has changed. It's like you and me
Okay.
when we don't see each other. Nothing has changed when we meet each other again,
Okay.
and then you've got your other groups like that. So how do you keep
Yeah.
them in your orbit? How do you keep that intact?
Oh, okay. So personally kasi like I'm not really like a high maintenance friend. Like I'm
Mhm.
very low key. I actually like having distance with friends. Like I like just checking up on them every few months. Like you and me, like for example, because okay guys, so me and Duarte like we've been friends since high school.
Yes.
And like, we've had a lot of like milestones and dramatic times together, but we've gotten better as we like grew up. And I think me and Duarte, we don't talk every day, but like when we do need each other, like we video call. Like it's a simple way of just messaging that friend. Like, hi, do you have time today? Can I call you? Or like, hi, how are you? Like, how are you doing? Like, it's just little stuff like that. Like, it doesn't have to be like an everyday thing. Like, you always have to be in connection with each other. Like, I
Mhm.
think keeping friends, it's not hard as long as you know that person's boundaries and you know your boundaries and you have trust in the connection that you have, so you know that when you do need them, like they're gonna be there, and you also understand that if they are busy, then you'll respect that, because when you're
Exactly.
busy they'll respect that as well. So it just works both ways, so I think it's also just give and take. So yeah.
Exactly, and also like with that, I agree. We're kind of low key friends. We
Mm,
actually that's why our friendship works in a whole lot of sense
yeah.
because we're both busy people in and out of our friendship. We do a lot of things, and again, we've been friends for like what X number of years
Since
since third year,
second,
second year,
third year.
third year
Yeah,
was
second year
the
we weren't close yet. Like we're
yeah.
just like
Second
okay.
year was just paddling the boat, and then third
Yeah, and
year,
then third year like we went full on.
yeah, third year there was a pivotal moment in our friendship. Like
Yeah.
we showed up for each other,
Oh yeah,
and
I
then
think you could, cause guys, our first moment actually as friends, like I was crying, I was crying, and then like he was the first person I saw, and like we weren't that close yet, but like I know we had like the vibe check. Okay, he
yeah,
passed the
there was the
vibe check,
vibe. Yeah, there was the
and then
vibe.
so yeah, and then when I was crying, like he was the only one who saw me, and then like he saved me basically from embarrassment, and yeah,
That was
and
no,
from
but the vibe check though came during because we were classmates in third year. We were both in medical
yeah, we
science,
were already
so
classmates.
yeah, so there was just that vibing, and that was like one of the moments that sealed the deal. It was such a like,
Yeah,
okay,
like
let's do
sealed
this.
it. Okay, we're
Sealed
friends.
it, sealed it. Like yes, sealed
Yeah,
with a
like
kiss. So
even though like when we started being friends, like it wasn't like oh every day like we message like every
yeah,
hour, every minute. Like it just matures along the way. Like
exactly. So, yeah, coming to all of that, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us had friends that were pulled distance apart. And what I realized, I also had those kinds of people, no, yung parang, when I have like, I don't know if I segregate people, but I do have like this group, for example.
okay.
I have Julia and Anne. We call
Mm-hmm.
ourselves the firstborns. We were firstborn kids. We spent time together at least a year. We see each other twice, thrice, but it's a low quality, low maintenance, no, not low quality, low maintenance friendship, but it's there.
Okay.
It's the constant connection within is there. And then what we do, because we both do that too, when we don't see
Yeah.
each other for a while, we see what each other is going through. Like that
Mm,
I'm working on something, and I know that you're working on something. And then when we
mm,
come to talk about how these things work, we're actually just congratulating each other. Oh, I saw you did
yeah.
this, you did that.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, when we're pulled in directions apart, you have to understand that that's how life is. Like life will really
Yeah.
pull you to a direction where you must go, and you can't do anything about it, and you can't take it personally when friends
Yeah.
around you get pulled into that direction and focus on that part
Yeah.
of their lives. But
Mm,
again, the communication has to be there. And I think what solidified our friendships or what solidifies friendships is like when you talk about showing up. I mean, that's what I got from you. We've had moments. Trisha and I had multiple moments. We've like yeah, I will not lie. Like I have had moments. I she would
where
have
you wanted to strangle me.
no, almost. Just kidding. No, no. I remember after the prom when
Yeah.
things were getting tough in college. We were like still in contact because we were both in a street away, just across the
Mm,
street each other. And I remember we'd hang out for iced coffee, McDonald's iced
yeah.
coffee. We'd
Yeah.
hang out. We'd talk about our frustrations in
That's
life.
true.
Oh my god, how young we wanted to be then. How young I wish we were then. Alam mo yun, parang
I
that was a fun
know.
moment to worry about
Yeah, that's true.
all those
But I
moments.
think it's like in the topic of like segregating friends or like having friends in different groups and everything. I think it's really a matter of choice. Like if you want your friends to like have their own groups, you don't want them to meet each other, like that's fine. But if you all want them to just be one whole group so that it's easier to hang out, then that's also fine. But to me, like when you mentioned like our coffee nights at 2 a.m., I think sometimes like bonds with friends like have different ways of like parang strengthening it. Like to us, it's coffee at 2 a.m., at 12 midnight. It's going to McDo because you texted me like, hey, just the hey, and I already know like we're gonna go to
Yeah,
McDo. Like
I
I am
remember
still
that.
dressing
Yeah.
up. I I am going to
See
McDo.
you
And then
there in a few minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there are also friends that I know who messages me at like Friday night and it's like, where are you? Then you know it's drinking. Like, do you get me? Like, there's just
Yeah.
different ways of strengthening friendships with some people. And if they don't have the same things, like they don't share the same similarities, then I guess like you just have to keep them at like different
Yeah. I'm
bonding times.
exactly. I mean, there are way like we call them crossovers. Nga, no, we've actually done successful
Yeah.
crossovers, but we call them crossovers when we bring like Trisha's group of friends, other like from our barkada, we bring other
Mm.
group of friends. I think me, I have it. I'm the least to bring.
Not so much yet.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm the least to bring
Not
in
so much yet.
crossovers
Yeah.
because I'm a loner. Joke lang. No, I have like the different no very not very I guess
I don't know. Why
very
don't you want us to meet them?
no, I don't really have other people to like, I mean I do
No,
have
in fairness, I've done a lot of crossovers with you, but
crossovers.
I don't think you've done like group
My
crossovers, like
yeah.
group of friends come together. But you have done like me and your other
Yeah,
friends, like
once, yeah.
single.
It's like a single out crossovers that I haven't, but I
Mm-mm.
haven't done the big group
Yeah.
crossovers because I think it's a different wavelength. Because for me, I'm a different person with somebody else. Like it's not that I'm a lot. Like I think I have multiple personalities,
You're
but
Gemini. Okay.
probably no. But I do have like different when I'm with roller skating friends, it's different. Like what we do, it's kind of like the different hobbies and things that I make out of that. But it's a,
Yeah.
one day I'd love to bring a crossover, like in one of those time when the time comes. Well, but
Yeah.
also I don't think I have like enough people to bring into a big group crossover, if that's what you mean.
Mm.
But
Well,
yeah,
I do think that that's a fine also. Like I don't like also like having a lot of friends or having not like having just a few friends is like also your choice because like there is like a positive thing to having like a small group of friends because I think the trust is just parang the friendship matures better because like the focus is on that group, but
yeah,
then it's up to you really like whatever floats your boat,
yeah,
diba? So if you can
exactly.
keep all of them at bay, then that's good. If you can't keep a lot, then that's also fine. It doesn't mean you're enemies. It just means that like you've
You
had moments
tend,
and then now you're growing
yeah.
up. Yeah, so
You
you're
tend to
getting
the
messier.
people. Because I think yun nga din, it's a two-way street. If they keep in constant contact with you as well, you
Yeah.
also try to do that. Because syempre, ikaw naman yung parang, oh, you'll feel, wait, I kind of like feel bad if I don't keep in constant contact. So there are those
Yeah.
kinds of people that what I would like to say about this are like long distance friendships when you know that you've had a very good relationship at a certain moment in time because of your
Mm.
distal and proximity with each other. If they were your classmates, they were your blockmates, and then you see
Yeah.
them from afar achieving what they have to achieve. You
Yeah.
have that sense of pride and happiness for them that
Yeah.
they're achieving that kind of goal that they set for themselves. And you know,
Yeah.
I realized this though because I've had a lot of far away friends where like when I celebrate something of a win, they'd greet me, they'd say congratulations. It
Mm.
means a lot to me. So when I also give that back because I believe like one good true act of goodwill sparks another. So if you try to do that also, that will also bring them to do that to other people. It's kind of like that kind of thing. So if you're a faraway friend and you see someone, take the time to actually give them the praise, give them that recognition because I think it really would mean a lot. And that's one way you could thank the friends and the people that you've been with through your journey growing up. Because in life, there are moments that would define who will be with us forever. From moments of weaknesses and loneliness through triumph and success. I've had I've had friends hold my hand in my darkest moments. Yes,
Yeah.
this is one of them.
I know.
And I'm
And
forever.
you don't like to and you're not really like a fan of disconnecting also because like he's very good, guys, at like keeping friendships and like I think just being able to like go through hoops and loops with them. Like you're very good at that.
Yeah,
Like you're
well,
very good at adjusting to a person's personality. That's why you
Wait,
get to keep the friendship also, right?
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I'm flexing my friend.
Love it. No, like,
Yeah.
but so the reason why I brought Tisha here is because we kind of have the same wavelengths when it comes to friendship. Knowing that we've been in a friendship for a very long time, and I want to like flex a lot of milestones together. I remember there were moments that these were actually fleeting moments. Hindi natin these are moments that we rarely notice. We actually notice it like as if it's just already happening. I remember when we were together. We were together one time, right? Going into job interviews. Were you riding with me to a
Yeah.
job
So
interview? Yeah.
yeah, so like our first no, that was just like that was like our adulting milestone, I
Yeah,
think.
we
Yeah.
have a lot. Like the
Cause it
adulting
was
milestones are
my
one of my favorites.
yeah, so it was my first job interview. And it was in Makati, and I live far from Makati, so I was like I can't be late, and so I told him that like, oh, I have a job interview, and his work was like, I think it was just 15 minutes away
Yeah.
from my interview. So like, yeah, and he offered to like bring me there, and so when we woke up, like I was doing the makeup like in his room, and then like his parents are waking up, and you already know how much I love tita in the morning. And so like when we were driving, like I think I told him that like, oh my god, this is another milestone, like
I
we're like
know.
going to interviews now back, like compared to like meeting the first time in prom, and like
Yeah.
like closing the deal with our friendship, and then now we're like going to job interviews together. It was just so cute. So I
Yeah. Those are one of the moments that I kind of like whoa, like, oh yeah, I've never
yeah.
realized, I've never noticed. It's
And
like been doing it most of the time, being with each
yeah,
other, and you're like, wow, that's a
yeah.
milestone.
And I think that's also like a big factor in being a friend. Like just knowing where each other's priorities are. Because like the more that we grow up, like I know all people always say like the more you grow up, the more that you lose friends. But honestly, like it's just about like what I said before, boundaries, and like I think also priorities. Like if you know that your friend is like career driven and they're really into their job, like that's what they're focusing on, then the best thing you can do is to really support them rather than pulling them away and being like, oh, you're never in the hangouts and stuff. Like I think you just respect that, like, okay, they're focusing on that. And then, maybe do something nice, like maybe in a few months that you haven't seen them, maybe you can like drop by their work or like bring them something, or like just to remind them that like, hey, yeah, like if you need a break, do you get
Yeah.
me? Like it's just
Yeah.
about that. And then and then if you have friends who have like serious relationships or wants to get into a family and stuff, then the best thing you can do is to like attend dinners with them and stuff. Like it's really about respecting what each other's thing is at the moment, and then like adjusting yourself to that, and then like not being a needy friend, but being like a friend that just like is there, like just there you know yeah.
Exactly. I like that though. I think that's true. I don't think you ever really lose friends. It's just really more of these friends that you've had so close to you before, so whatever with you
Yeah.
before, have had different priorities. It's not their choice to actually leave you, so don't take it personal either
Mm.
way. It's more of they had
Yeah.
they had to really just move on and evolve from that kind of priority in their life. And
Mm. Yeah.
like that's what I've and going through that, yun nga like it was so nice going through that milestone with you was just so nice because it's a big flex, guys. Going through that milestone with her, I like
Yeah.
that. And the fact that when I tell my parents, for example,
Mm.
I'm hanging out with them or they're sleeping over, it's not basically asking permission. I'm just telling them what I'm gonna do with them. So it's like that's the
Yeah.
biggest flex. Like, oh, matutulog dito. So she's sleeping over, Tisha's sleeping
Yeah.
over. And they're like,
I've
okay.
actually like slept in Dorothy's house like multiple times because like I
Yeah.
don't know because Tita
Yeah.
loves me. No, I
Uh,
think it's because like I think a big part also of friendships are families. So I think like whenever you get an opportunity to hang out with your your best friend's mom or your best friend's dad, or even if you don't even consider them as your best friend, like anyone's friend's family. Like when you hang out with them, you have to make an effort to really get to know them
Yeah.
and to, because you know, if you love your friend, you also have to love like their family. It's just part of the
Exactly.
package. So yeah,
Yeah.
ayun. Oh my
So
god,
yeah.
am I gonna
So guys,
cry?
yeah. No, but so far so good naman with all the family. So like
Yeah,
yeah. So it's a thing. It's a funny
it's a
thing when
thing. Yeah, in
I
our
like
house
it.
also, like
Yeah, we
our
visit
whole,
the
yeah, my
they
whole
know all of
compound
us.
with Duarte, like my brother drinks with them, like hangouts with them, like it's okay, it's
I
fun.
know.
So yeah,
It's really cool. It's a really big crossover with the family. So
I
so
know.
I so like let's talk about one of the most highlights of like you
Okay,
know of the topic today. It's when we talk about these friends, I think there are ways that we could be grateful for them in a lot on that sense. You've given us
okay,
good examples, right? But I want to know like how have your friends helped you cope through this whole pandemic? Actually, during and up until now, it's still a pandemic going on, right?
okay,
So how have your friends helped? How have you guys adjusted? How have we adjusted
okay.
to that? Because not just
Um,
you and me, but
okay,
all of your other friends.
okay. So I think like it was so popular to do it like at the first few months of of the pandemic to like have inumans, like it became a thing. So I think that was for me, I think that was a big thing. I think it just allowed you to like, okay, so the positive thing to it for me is like I think it allowed you to drink and at the same time really connect with each other, to really talk to each other, because you know how when you're in bars or you're in clubs, like
Yeah.
it's too loud and it's just a lot of dancing. But I think this time, like, you know, since you're drunk and you're on a video call with your friends and like, you know, it's been such a sad year, like last year was such a sad year, like
Yeah.
you were just able to open up and like have a heart to heart talk. So that was really good. Like I'm really grateful to them for that. And then second, I think I was really grateful for them as well, because I think not just because I also opened up like a small business of mine, and I think a lot of us did. And I think one of the things we have to be grateful for our friends is like the unending support that they give us even during a pandemic, if it's just sharing a post or liking, or 'di ba, ikaw even with your podcast, like 'di ba? So
Definitely.
it's just
Yeah.
like that support and like them being proud of you. It's just really it's a big deal for me. Like I think especially when we're becoming adults, like that becomes the thing. It's not really the partying or the drinking. It's really that
The
matters. And
support.
then
Yeah.
yeah, the support. And then I'm also really okay, so this one, I'm also grateful, I think, for like I think respecting each other's priorities. Because like you know how we're distant, right? And some friends, of course, they might not take it well because it's like a pandemic, so you can't see each other. Or sometimes you don't even message because, of course, sometimes your mental health is also like not at its best. So
Yeah.
sometimes you also don't have the energy to be like, you know, to talk and to make cuento. And then like some friends might take that the wrong way, but I'm actually grateful that like all of my friends didn't take that the wrong way. Like they understood that okay, we're all going through a lot right now, so you know, give each other space. But whenever I did need them, like they were always there. And so yeah, those are things
Yeah.
I'm grateful for.
Like those are the things that help you cope through 2020. And
Yeah, thank
I
you.
agreed though na the whole inuman was a season of our lives. It was a whole
Yeah,
like
yeah.
um it was weekly thing. Actually
Yeah,
the
it,
talent
yeah, it became like weekly and then became monthly.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
was also like a battle of talents because we had this group called Quarantine Fitness. It was
Yeah.
also one of the reasons why the one of the
Oh yeah, I
reasons that
almost
helped
forgot.
me yeah, one of the reasons that helped me cope with the
Okay.
whole
Oh,
pandemic up until now is we work out. Well, nalagas na kami. We were like killed off one by one because of work, and people had to go back to work, working from home at the full time schedule and all of that. Um, But quarantine fitness was one of the first things that helped me cope because I worked out with all of them, with friends,
Yeah.
and that became and that was a big crossover of friends. We did inumans together. Yeah, trust me,
Yeah.
not all of us has met I've met them in person once or twice at the party, but we haven't met all together as one
Yeah.
group yet. So it's that those are the little things that help me like cope through that. And also with Trisha, yun nga, we're a distant where our friendship is not like everyday talk. So we have like sometimes on good days, on good mental all good. On
Yeah.
good mental health level days, we talk at least every other week
Like,
or every
yeah.
other day. If there are a lot of things to talk about. But when we did that for like a while, we were like, there's nothing to talk about my life. Like, what should I tell
Yeah.
you? Like, what should I
It's just not efficient.
I know. So we were like, okay. So
Yeah.
we kind of just like catch up every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's a really
Well, in fairness, there was one time that like I don't think we've talked for like a few, I think 2 weeks, and then like he calls me at like 3 a.m. and then he was like, "I'm just so kilig because I've been
I'm
watching this show," and then so do you get me like it's just that simple thing that you
yeah, it's a
okay,
simple
and
thing.
as a friend you listen and then you get me because it doesn't have to be like how are
Yeah.
you and there's like whole thing going on, like
Yeah.
it's just really like calling your friend at random times and telling them random things and
It's
appreciating each
it's
other
the
for
little
listening.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little thing and you're gonna be like oh and then also one of our like the thing that our friendship does also is like, oh, are you busy? Can I rant? And she's just like gonna rant and I'm gonna be like, yes, okay, go. And like, okay, ready to
Yeah.
call,
And then
ready
like
to
after I
answer.
rant, yeah, I need to go somewhere. So I'm gonna be like, okay, thank you so much for listening, but I need to go. Bye.
Yeah,
And
I'll
then
see
you
you
know, and then
later.
yeah, and then you don't message them again for like 2 weeks, and then you're like,
Yeah.
remember that rant? Thank you, like ganun lang. Like
Yeah.
it's really just. I think that's when you know that a friendship will succeed if like you can talk to each other just like that. Like it doesn't have to be so systematic and everything. So
Exactly. It
yun.
doesn't have to be systematic. Yes. Anyway, so
Yeah.
here's like one question for you though. What are like
Okay.
the most like can you give me at least two or three moments that you were thankful for your friends? Like they kind of like saved you from a really, really dark space. It doesn't really have to be like ours. Like, it's okay. You can tell any other story. Because
Okay.
I've had with you, I've had with a lot. I'll go start para naman mayroon kang idea.
Okay,
So you
sige,
can have
yeah,
an idea.
go.
So the mine was with you, with Pam Austin Ray. One of them was when they joined me for testing for HIV and CSB. And it's just really, like it's a thing because technically a little sexually active person here and I was young then and I was dumb and I
Yeah.
wasn't doing it was really they tested with me and that was one of those moments. And one of my favorite moments though, even if there were people in the past that that's not here with us anymore, like as friends and as people, was my 20th birthday. Like, but that was the first time ever that you guys like that was a surprise. I was so happy that was
Yeah.
it was a really good fun party. It was themed, it was white, we were complete, most of us were
Mm-hmm.
complete, and it was just really, really cool. And yeah, recently was my birthday this year, one of my favorites then. But ang dami though. One of my favorites was this year because I was really surprised. I never expected them to get me a cake from
Ah,
Nicole's place.
okay.
I was like, I
Ay,
never
grabe.
expected a
Okay, okay.
thing. So I was like,
Masarap
oh,
ba?
it's
Pakilat
really
naman dyan.
good.
Cake
Oh
is
yeah, so
lava, thank
cake
you.
is lava. Thank you. So cake is lava is cheesecake in a can. You can taste it out there. It
Yeah.
has yes, it's a free plug-in. Hey Nicole. So there is bibingka cheesecake.
Yeah.
That's what they got me. It was so good. So that
Mm-hmm.
was a really good surprise because I was just like,
I know.
wasn't really expecting
That was actually
anything.
funny because I was like, wait, oh my god, Tico, where can we get kaya? And then because this year I've been having like a theme of like supporting small businesses so as much as possible. Like if a small small
Small.
businesses offers it, like that's where you buy it. So and then
Yeah.
I was like, wait, oh my god, we have the cake is lava. So we just got it for you. And ayun. Thank you for
Yeah.
the free delivery, Nicole.
Thank you, thank you. And for that
Ayun.
surprise, I was really shocked. So I was like, oh, it was
Yeah. It
genuine,
was
genuinely
really
shocked.
hard because like he was out the whole day. Like you were out the whole day.
Yeah, I did my own thing the whole
So we were
day.
like, oh my god, how are we gonna ask him when he's gonna go home? Because then he might know. But then it was so funny because you called me on the way home. So I messaged her and I was like, oh my god, he's already home. So you
I
didn't see
know,
it coming because like
I
you were the one who
know.
called me. So I was like, thank you God, like manifestations work.
It worked, it worked. So yeah, so yeah, what about that? Like, well, because also Tisha and I had one moment. I'd love to share one moment. Also, she joined me for a testing. So those are like actually big
Okay,
moments that I really
thanks.
really
Grabe ka.
appreciate. Yeah, those are the big ones I appreciate. Oh, one also when we had our coffee, we have our morning coffee. So we moved our midnight coffee
Yeah.
sessions into morning coffee
Oh
sessions.
yeah, when we
You
started
know,
working.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that was fun because we'd meet in
Mm-hmm.
Tim Hortons, we'd have coffee
Yeah.
together, catch up a little before we both go to work. Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful moments.
That's
Love, love
true.
those moments.
Yeah, it was so funny because like you'd always be the first one, and I'd always be like, "Oh my god, we have coffee!" So like I'll just rush and stuff. And I'm not a morning person, so I usually don't like it. But then, like the more that we did it together, the more that it started my day better because like I get to have breakfast and a little bit of chica on the side, and then like get to work. So
Yeah,
yeah.
gotta hustle. Oh, what about you? Your
We gotta
turn.
hustle. We gotta find that coin. And then, okay. So for me, actually, mine are just like small things. So I think first of all, I think all of my friends have drove me somewhere. Like for sure, like for
Yes.
sure. Okay, like just to like for sure, a lot of my friends that have driven me somewhere. Like Duarte has, like Nicole a lot of times, and then Pam, Nico and Austin like so many times, and then like there's also Kaylee and Mitch, and then even Rick. Actually, it's just everyone, like Janelle, Angela, all of you guys here, Eunice, like I don't know all of my friends because I don't know how to drive. Okay, so like it's just so sweet that like because I'm surrounded by people who always drive me. Also, Natty pala, like he's drove me like so many times.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just sweet kasi parang, you know how, like, okay, so it's just sweet. It's parang I don't need to have a boyfriend to like get picked up. Do you get me? Or to even
Yeah.
be brought home. Like I'm just surrounded and I'm just so grateful to have friends who are always like, "Hay nako, susunduin na kita ngayon na, lumabas ka na." Or like, wag ka mag-alala, iuwi kita. Like, do you get me? Like, it's just this simple invitation of like offering to drive you home and to bring you there. Like, it's so sweet. Parang, oh, thank you. Like, they really take their time out of their busy lives to just to make sure that you're there. So that one I really like it. So thank you.
Okay.
And then yeah.
True
Thank you
yan, true
guys.
yan.
And then so yeah, actually baka hindi nyo alam na sobrang na-appreciate yun. But I'm really like super appreciative of that. And then second, okay, so I had this moment when I just graduated, I think. Yeah, I just graduated, and then I started I think my mental health was just like, not at its best.
Circling
And
the
then
drain.
like yeah, it was just like going down the drain, guys. And then because I'm usually like I'm very talkative and I'm very loud, and I just like I like going out.
Yeah.
So it was, and I also don't like sharing about my feelings. Like I don't like being vulnerable. So during that time, like I wanted to go and I don't know, I wanted to get checked, or like I just wanted to go to the psych or something. I don't know. Like you get that feeling when you kind of really want some help, but then you don't know what's
Yeah.
happening with you. And so it was so hard for me to just like open up to all of my friends. So at the
Mm-hmm.
start, I really didn't. But then when I did, like, parang it was this like love that I felt from all of them. Like they all understood what I was going through. And even if some of them didn't understood, like they stood by me and they supported me. And then, after the dark clouds left, like I was fine again. And it just feels good to know that I didn't have to hide who I was or who I was becoming around them. Like I could, like, even though I wasn't so strong, like, even though I was showing a lot of, like, I don't know, I was just being not me. And,
Mm-hmm.
they were prepared for that. They were prepared to see me change and to join me, in my sorrows just as much as they have joined me when I was like at my highest. So yun. And so yun lang. I think that's for me. And I think this for the, I don't know, I feel like I appreciate you guys all the time. Basta you
Yeah.
call or you just message, like those little things that, like, it matters a lot to me. And I think, I don't know, for me, sometimes I think our friendship, like I really see it like, I don't, because we are not emotional, guys. I just want to share. So our
Yeah,
group kasi
just
is
gonna
not
put it out there.
emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like our group kasi is not emotional. Like I don't know how many times I have to repeat it, but like we're just very like, when you love them, you just say like, "Uy, thank you, ah." That's it. Like, we don't go like, "Oh my God, I love you so much. This is so nice." Like, we don't do that.
Or
So,
the I love you is just passing. Oh, I'll see you, love you. Parang
yeah,
ganon. It's just
it's
like,
very passing. It's very like, "Oh,
uh,
miss you, bye you, love you, okay."
uh,
And
so
then
like,
we leave.
oh.
Like, that's it. Like, we don't really, I don't know, we
Yeah,
need to have more heart to
we've
heart
got
talks. But
issues on that, but
yeah,
that's
but then
on us.
I realized when you were graduating, and because when you're in college, like you party a lot with them. It's like you're basically in like one building, and then all of you can go out anytime you want, and like you can just hang out. Like it's so chill.
It's so
But then the moment
easy.
you graduate, yeah, the moment you guys start going abroad and stuff, like I was really grateful for the fact that like we were able to find our balance,
Yeah.
like in between all of our dreams and goals and like our plans to be successful. Like it's just nice to know that you have friends that can support you in that and can ride you like in any wave that you're in. Hindi yung parang porket busy na siya sa work, parang okay, drop it, like wala na, I can't join the hangouts. It shouldn't be like that. So it's really nice, and I'm really grateful to be surrounded by people who are there for me, na alam ko even if I go abroad tomorrow or yesterday, or I don't know, if I change my plans right away, they will be there for me. Like, may it
Yeah.
be through the internet or like with me talaga. So
Yeah.
yun. Girl,
Yeah.
pakaimuya ka. Okay.
Girl, that's so, that is that ganda, very well said. No, that's true though.
Okay.
Like that kind of friendship
Thank
was
you,
one.
Miss Philippines.
Yeah, no, not true though. That she said about graduating, about that we were able to find like a balance of everything. It was so funny because we had a moment in our lives where we weren't together physically. Like it's
Yeah.
when I left for the States, Austin and Pam left for the States.
Yeah.
We all came back. Now Trisha was the one out of the country. She went to Spain, and like you
Yeah.
know and there's this Nico
Yeah.
who's just med school all the way, who's been
True.
eaten
Yeah.
up by med school,
Yeah.
and Nicole who also had boards. It was really
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
was a
That's true.
phase. So it
It was
was a
actually
phase that
really funny because I think like when I was in Spain, like there was a time that you would call me from New York, and I think you're on the way to work,
yeah,
and then
you
like
always catch
I'm
up.
about to sleep. Like I'm about to, like it's like I think madaling araw in Spain. And then he's gonna call me, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, okay, okay. And then after that, like I think Nicole's gonna call me naman from the Philippines. And then like, and then I'm sure that also happens to you. Like after you call me, you're gonna call Austin naman.
Yeah, and
Or like
I
Pam.
call
So
Pam because we're in the same like
yeah.
the same country, got all different time
Yeah.
zones. Like we do that. Like it's not the whole
So there's
group
just like
call.
this roll call of like, okay, who's gonna be
Exactly.
next, guys?
I know, but it's funny
So
though,
yeah.
cause that's how I do it. So that's my way of like catching up. Cause they all know that I'm busy. I'm a busy bee all the time. So when I call
Yeah.
them, it's either I'm driving, I'm walking. It's a
Mm.
dull moment, and like you wanna talk. And I also
Yeah.
appreciate those kinds where you're just like. They're available. Glad that they're available. But when they're not, I'm like, okay, music na
Yeah.
lang. So, so it's really
That's
just
true. And for me, I think like a friendship tip, like, because I think for me, answering is a big deal. Calls, when it comes to calls, like, but
yeah.
text talaga, I mean, we all know we are
Yeah.
not good at replying with
Yes,
messages,
exactly.
okay? But when someone
Yes.
calls you, it means like it's something urgent, like they need to get something out of their chest. So
Yeah.
I think it's just important to just leave a message if you can't call. Do you get me? Like, just be like, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm in a
Yes.
meeting right now. So, and then you wait for them to call back or you call them back. And then you just tell them, oh, I only have 10 minutes, huh? So, okay, tell me what's up. And like,
Yes.
it doesn't have to be like an hour. It just has to be like the presence or some
Yes.
sort of like support.
She got that down in
Yeah.
the box. Like that's so true. Cause like
Thank
you
you.
probably just need an ear to listen to you and all
Yeah,
that. It's
like,
it.
or baka you just need someone to remind you na parang like, you're okay, girl. Like, don't, like, stop worrying. Like, you're fine. Like, ganun lang. Like,
I have a lot of
diba?
those.
Like,
I have a lot of those
like,
with Trisha.
yeah, you don't always have to have like the 3 a.m. talks where it's like, oh, life. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like, you just tell them it's fine, girl. You're okay. Okay, you're going the right way. Go, go, go. And
Yeah.
I think you just become brutally honest with them if they're wrong. I think that's also like a
Exactly.
big factor in friendships. Like, it's better to be brutally honest than to sugarcoat it with a lie. But
Exactly.
then again, at the same time, like, when you present the truth, like, you also have to take in their personality. Sorry.
True.
Okay, so of course you also have to take in their personality. Like, if they're like a tough cookie, like ako, and Duarte is also a bit tough. Like, you can go at them, like, okay ha, ganito kasi yan, ganon. And you can tell them what's wrong. But then if they're a sweetheart, of course naman you kind of have to be,
You know, you
more,
gotta
like,
sandwich it.
present it, or
Good,
like present it
bad, and
well,
good. Yeah.
like, ganon. But don't lie and stuff. When it comes to problems
Exactly.
and advices, like, just be upfront. So yun.
That's
So
wonderful.
ito
All right.
naman, nabuhay naman kami doon.
Totoo. Kaya naman namin yun. But before we all go to our last two questions, we're going to take a break in
Okay.
3, 2, and
Okay.
1.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. It is Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian and Duarte. I'm with Trisha once again. And we're down to our final two questions of this podcast and episode. So the next question I have for Trisha. Trisha, what's one thing you did for your friends or a group of friends or one friend that you thought you'd never do?
Okay. So, well, apart from the whole like saving their ass when they're drunk, or like, answering the phone call at 5 a.m. to listen to their like to listen to them rant until like 8 a.m. or like 9 a.m. Like, apart from those things, I think the one thing that I never thought I'd do is to take lies, like, because I've had like a situation in my life where like a person that I was very close with, and I actually like, I considered her a best friend at the time, and she said a lot of lies to me about herself, and at the same time she also said lies about me, so like, basically like backstabbing, diba? And a lot of manipulation. But then in my journey of being friends with her, like, I wanted to keep her as a friend with me so badly. Because, you want to see the good in people. And also at the same time, like, it's history. Like, you never want to be at that point in your life where you have to let go of someone you hold so close to you. Right? Especially who's like
Exactly.
met all of your friends, met your family. Like, it's hard. But then that's one thing that I never thought I'd do, because I think I have a very strong personality. Like, I'm very, I don't know, I'm very honest, and I'm very loud talaga with my thoughts. So I never thought that I would ever go to a place where I would be so quiet and silent about what I was really thinking, just because I wanted to keep that person as a friend. And the moral of the story is that as much as we want to try as much as we want to try to save some friendships and relationships in our lives, like, we have to be able to let go also. Because if we don't let go of these people, like, am I serving her? Am I being a good friend to her by not being able to share my thoughts because, she can't handle it? And is she serving me because, I'm changing, or like I'm not really being who I am with her, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just not working out. So we also have to, I think sometimes being a friend is also learning to let go of the friendship when it has to be, when it
Yeah.
reaches that point. And I think it's just about supporting them, as you've said kanina pa, like supporting them from afar, being proud of them from afar. I think that's still in some sense being a friend to them, even though you
Tumpak.
don't have that like original friendship. It's okay, girl.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh well.
Oh, wag ka umiyak.
No, but that what do you call that? Yeah, for me, one of the things, the man, that I never thought I'd do. I'm not a very spontaneous person. If y'all knew,
Yeah.
Trisha knows, everybody knows. I
Ako
like
yun, guys. Hindi siya yun.
she's very spontaneous. I'm the opposite. I'm very
Yeah.
structured, scheduled. I even budget my money
Efficient.
before I go
Mm-mm.
out to a trip. But
Mm-mm.
there's
There
one
is a
friend
9
of
a.m. thing to do. There is a
yeah,
10 a.m.
I'll
thing to
see
do.
you at this time because I'm still doing this. Then
10:30
it's
to 10:45.
it's a it's a very like
Ganon.
timed life, though I'm trying to
Okay.
not be like that. And then there's this one time I had Austin. He had his HB moment, and then he was like he
Yeah.
wanted to heartbroken moment, and he wanted to go to the beach, and that was like just in 2 days or 3 days decision making, and I was like, sure, let's go. Find the car, let's do it. And we drove to La Union. That was the first time driving like from a very far place because my dad doesn't really allow me to do that yet. But we did because it's Austin's car. It was very fun. We all kind of did that. And I that's one thing I never thought I'd do, just be that spontaneous. With them though, I'm learning to be as spontaneous as I can. I am a little more spontaneous now than I was before. But yeah, it's really, really one of the things I know. But to cap everything off, to cap, since we were talking about how could you be grateful for your friends, and I'm sure you all listened and heard one of, as we all talked about the kinds of friendship that we all had and keep and kept. Um, you've heard all those tips and things of how to be grateful for our friends. But here we are, Tisha and I, we're gonna give you some lists of things that you could do to provide like this way of saying things to your friends. So personally, like I'll give Trisha the floor first. She'll be telling you how she does it, her tips and tricks, how she
Mhm.
does show her appreciation to her friends. And I'll go if I have anything to add with that. Go, Trisha.
Okay. Hi. Okay, so at okay, so personally kasi I think you also, before you like do anything to like you want to show appreciation, diba? You also have to think about like the type of person that you are. Like, are you a gift person? Are you, the love languages? Like, are you a
Yeah,
person who likes to spend time? And are you a person who's like about the language, the way they speak to you and stuff like that? So ako kasi, I'm more of, um, I just like hanging out with my friends. Like, that's me. I like being their kaladkarens. Like, I like being that person. So when I show appreciation to them, it's usually when I like, first of all, like give time to hang out with them, even if it's just once a year. I think that's actually a big deal, because
exactly. It is.
adult life is very like, it's moving very fast. So just to have that time to really connect, it's like, that's good. Okay. And then second, as I've mentioned kanina, like video calls or just calling, like, just messaging. It may be calling, it may be messaging, whatever you're comfortable with. Like, just check up on them or tell them, oh, I thought of you. Or like, siguro if I forgot to reply, you can say like, hey, like what's up? Like it can just be that. I think the fact that you're making an effort to really talk to each other, even though it's not like a continuous conversation, like that's okay. And then I also show things to them a lot. I think if you wanna be I like if you want to be more in line with being an adult, I think to me like giving appreciation or thanks to your friends is really by supporting what they're passionate about. Like for example, like Duarte like is really passionate about like being a content creator and like making podcasts, and that's why we support him a lot with it talaga, by sharing, do you get me, like those small things. And then like
Yeah.
me as a I'm a financial advisor, guys. So me as a financial advisor, like I'm really grateful that like when I want to practice meetings, or like a lot of my clients are also like my close friends. So, they're open to it. Like just being open to what your friends are passionate about. It's a big thanks in a way that, because most of the time people, when they're passionate about something, at the first try, they're a bit shy. They're a bit insecure and parang, oh my god, okay, is this really it? Like, are people gonna support me? So the biggest thing that you can really do for them is to give them like a lot of support and to let them know that like I'm here, I got you. If you change your mind, go. But if you wanna go, move forward, go. Sige, edi, I'll be here then. Like I'll just be with you. Like whatever help you need, I'll give it to you. Ganon. So usually me personally, I may not be so good at like replying to messages or like always being open to calling kasi I have a schedule to follow, like Duarte also has a schedule to follow.
Yeah.
But when you do need me, or like if you really do message me and be like, hey, can you support me on this, like just like we're gonna be there for you. Do you get me?
Exactly.
So I think you want to be that friend. You might not be the friend that's always messaging every hour of the day, but you want to be the friend that a person can call any time of the day when they just need to let out something from their heart and stuff like that. So yeah.
I
Thank you. That's
I
my
love
tips
that.
and tricks.
I love how she interjected the
Okay.
idea of love languages, and that's so true because there are so many
Yeah.
ways that you can show appreciation to your friends. Um,
True.
and especially now, what I can say is that, yeah, quality time, showing up for each other, being able
Mm.
to support them in the things that they're really really passionate about is very very important. Especially sometimes I think, one thing you could do is you can either write a thank you note if they sent you, or if they kind of like shared your story, shared your this, a little simple thank you would do. Or if you're seeing them doing the thing that they're passionate about, you can just send them a little compliment along their way and say, oh my gosh, it's so good, you're doing really great,
Yeah.
and whatsoever. And that would surely impact and really give a change on how that person is actually thinking. um Other ways to actually say thank you to your friends and be grateful for them is, what, really just showing up. I like that's one of the best things you could do. You show up when they need you the most, you listen to them when they need you to listen, and you
Yeah.
just and you give them the time. You give them the time to actually be with you and be with someone who needs. And
Yeah.
word of encouragement, you just encourage them once in a while. You say, oh, how's that? And just dropping in. That's what Trisha does do, like dropping
Yeah.
in, asking how you're doing, does a whole lot of way. And if you guys are in different love languages, such as giving gifts, maybe you just want to send a little thank you note along their way with some food, or like supporting local businesses. Trisha does that, and I'm sure that's a
Mm.
big that's a big um that's a big relief and thing for them, because
Mm.
you support their business just like Kikislava, and
Yeah.
hitting two birds with one stone. You supported a friend and you surprised
And
someone,
you were
and
able to surprise a friend. Like, so
exactly.
easy, guys.
Yeah. So
Kaya
if
kaya.
there's so many ways that you could actually show appreciation to your friends without actually having to spend so much. It's just really
Yeah.
being there for them, being present at the moment that you're needed to be present.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with all of
And
that,
I
thank you.
also, to add
Go.
to that, I also think it's about being appreciative as a friend as well. Like when
True.
whatever they give you or whatever they like present to you, like it's just really about like being open to it also, and being like, "Uy, thank you, naisip mo ko." Like it's like when you're an adult na, it's really life becomes like I don't know. I think it becomes more simpler and easy.
Yeah.
Like it's
And you get to
diba?
realize a lot of things don't come easy anymore, and you're like,
Yeah.
when this comes
Like, and
along, you're just
it's
like,
also harder to look for friends when you're like working now because it's all about work.
exactly.
So,
Yes.
you know, keep your friends close, guys.
True enough. True enough.
Just like,
Tend to them.
yeah, tend to them. Just how
Tend to
you
your
like, just how
friendships.
you would tend to a romantic relationship or to your plans or
Amen.
everything.
Amen.
Like, give it the
Yeah.
same respect of trust, boundary, and like priorities, diba? So, yeah.
Exactly. So
Yan.
yeah. So to end this episode, thank you so much for
Babe,
joining me.
thank you also. Can I pause?
Okay. To end everything off, can you tell us a message to the friends that you don't see anymore often, but you still want to send
Okay.
them loving their way?
Okay, so to all my friends, okay, hi friends! Okay, so hi friends. Andito na nga ako sa podcast ni Duarte. So, nice seeing you guys. So, first of all, I just want to tell all of you that I know we don't talk every day na and we have like different schedules and like work-life balances. But like, just to let you know that even though I am not replying, alam nyo naman that like I am here. So you just really message me or like call me or like remind me na parang hoy hindi ka nag-reply ganon. And like I'll do the same for you because alam ko busy tayo lahat. And also I just want to let you know that like even though all of us are going through a lot this pandemic, I just want to remind you that like our friendship is still here and it still stands and like after the pandemic we'll make more bawi to with each other talaga. Like I promise. I think right now like it's just also a good time to focus on ourselves. But then I know that sometimes distance might feel like, oh my God, they parang, like sometimes anxiety sets in and you don't want to message because parang, alam, we haven't talked for a while. But like, it's fine. Like, I think we're all going through the same thing. And I think we're also all going through the same adulting stages, which makes it more
Yes.
confusing. But like, just to let you know, like, I love you and I miss all of you. And yes, I'm a vlog. Okay. I love you and I miss all of you. And like, dito lang ako. And when you're ready to go out with the face mask and stuff, like, okay, I'm here.
All right.
That's all.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Guys, this is Trisha
Thank
Bustamante.
you
She is
also.
a financial advisor. You can check her out at the Insurance Guide on Facebook. Just
I
plugging
think
her
it's a
in.
vlog.
No worries. Thank you for joining us. And
Thank you
bye,
also. Thanks
lovies.
for
Thank
having me.
you. Goodbye.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
You enjoyed this episode? Be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to know more, check out www.guerillapodcast.com.au or guerillapodcast.com.ph. A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production.